Blessed are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. I was out riding the other evening, and for whatever reason, I found myself thinking about all the people who used to ride these same roads. The old farmer who used to wave from his porch but moved away years ago. The neighbor whose dog would always bark at every bicycle that went by. Friends and family members who are no longer here. Places that used to be full of life, but now sit quiet and empty. It's a strange thing, isn't it? You can ride down the same road 100 times, and then one day, a memory just sneaks up on you out of nowhere. Listen again to Yeshua's words. Blessed are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. At first glance, that verse almost sounds backwards. Most of us wouldn't naturally connect mourning with blessing. We think of blessing as happiness, success, celebration, and good news. We don't usually think of grief, loss, and sorrow. And yet, here in this Sermon on the Mount, Yeshua says something surprising. Those who mourn are blessed. Notice that he doesn't say, blessed are those who never experience loss. He doesn't say, blessed are those who always understand why difficult things happen. And he certainly doesn't tell people to pretend that pain doesn't hurt. Instead, he acknowledges something that every human being eventually learns. Life in this world comes with sorrow. Sometimes we mourn because we've lost someone we love. Sometimes we mourn because of broken relationships, disappointments, or prayers that seem to go unanswered. Sometimes we mourn because we look at the world around us and see suffering, injustice, and pain. And sometimes, if we're honest, we mourn because we recognize our own failures and our own need for God's mercy. Yeshua doesn't dismiss any of that. He doesn't tell us to simply get over it. He promises comfort. And I think that's an important distinction. The promise isn't the believers will never cry. The promise is that our tears are not invisible to God the Most High. The one who created us knows exactly what it feels like to suffer. Yeshua himself stood at the tomb of Lazarus and wept. He was betrayed, rejected, mocked, and eventually crucified. Our Savior is not distant from human sorrow. He stepped directly into it. And because of that, when we mourn, we don't mourn alone. You know, when you're out riding on a cloudy day, sometimes the sun disappears behind this storm cloud for a little while. The road gets darker, the wind picks up, and for a moment, it feels like the light is gone. But the sun hasn't disappeared. It's still there, even when you can't see it. In much the same way, God's presence doesn't vanish in our moments of grief, even when our hearts are too heavy to feel it. Maybe today you're carrying a loss that no one else knows about. Maybe you're grieving someone you've lost, mourning a chapter of life that's ended, or wrestling with burdens that seem too heavy to carry. And if that is you, hear the words of Yeshua once more. Blessed are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. Not ignored, not forgotten, comforted. The God who counts the stars also sees every tear. The God who holds the universe together is near to the brokenhearted. And even in our deepest sorrow, he has not abandoned his people. So if today is a difficult day, don't be afraid to bring your grief to the Lord. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to explain it away. You don't have to carry it by yourself. Lay it before him and trust that in His time and in His way, He will bring comfort. Thank you for joining me here this morning, my friends and family, and anyone else that might be riding along and needing to hear this message this morning. I hope to see you all here tomorrow morning, and until then, Abba willing. Shalom, shalom.